LEGO has released a total of 600 Ninjago sets, but in this video, we'll only be taking a look at the best of the best. The pilots, also known as the Golden Weapons, saw a total of 45 sets when they were released in 2011. 14 years later, this is still one of the best waves they've released. There was so much variety, from spinners to dragons with custom molded heads to huge playsets. The basic choice would be to pick the Fire Temple, and don't get me wrong, Flame is great and it has an all-time play feature, but that being said, my main problem comes from the roof. It's just very dated. My favorite set from this season is actually the Lightning Dragon Battle. Wisp is the biggest dragon out of the original 4 and is also my favorite. The skeleton helicopter is hardly a side build because it's massive. LEGO Ninjago peaked when they made tons of villain vehicles. Rise of the Snakes once again is one of the best set waves, despite being from 2012. I love all the snake vehicles in this wave, besides this one. I was so tempted to put the Ultrasonic Raider, since I do think that is the best version of the iconic vehicle, but I will still have to go with the Epic Dragon Battle. Unfortunately, I don't own this one, but it is one of my most wanted sets. To be honest, they probably could have gone without the side build, and the Great Devourer is pretty underwhelming, but the dragon is that good. The minifigure selection is incredible as well. The original Enter Ninjago only had 6 sets in the wave. By far, the best of these sets is the Golden Dragon. They kept the OG design but made a different mold for the head, which looks great. The Golden Lloyd minifigure is also one of LEGO's finest. It's a good thing that LEGO Ninjago didn't end here, because 2014 was an incredible wave of sets. Literally, every single one of these sets was a zinger, but I'd be trying to be different if I said that the Battle for Ninjago City wasn't the best set. But like, come on, what are these side builds? I think I know where the Shire designers got their inspiration from. The Overlord mech is a great addition to the set. The green, red, and gold color scheme for the temple works so well, but the gray from the rocks take away a little bit in my opinion. As great as Tournament of Elements was, the sets that came from it were pretty disappointing. Usually each season has a main location build, but Enter the Serpent was way too small. I have to give it to the Ninja DBX. It's a very nice build, but it wouldn't even stand out in the Possession wave. Possession isn't just the best season of Ninjago, but also my favorite wave of sets. They nailed everything from the Moros Dragon to Ronin's Rex to the City of Styx, but the best is of course the Temple of Air Jitsu. For $200, this was the biggest and most expensive Ninjago set at the time. It may be dwarfed by Ninjago City sets, but for its time it was revolutionary. You can make an argument that this isn't a fair pick since the Temple of Air Jitsu was seen in later seasons, but it has Possession Ninja, so it's a Possession set. If I had to pick another set, it would be the Final Flight of the Destiny's Bounty. That one was also great. Moving on to Season 6, Skybound. This one was tough because the Misfortune's Keep and Lighthouse Siege are both incredible sets, but I have to give it to the Lighthouse Siege. It's an awesome set with great minifigures, lots of play features, and was honestly underpriced at $70. They should have made this set in the Season 2 wave, so bringing it back in 2016 was such a good move. Day of the Departed was a 40-minute special, essentially combining Day of the Dead and Halloween. Most of the sets were more than underwhelming, but one that is still popular today is the Ultra Stealth Raider. Not only did you get the OG Ninja, but also Chen, an Anacondri Warrior, and Sensei Yang. This model is so sleek and even looks great when it's split into the 4 parts. Can't say the same about modern versions. Next is Hands of Time, and my favorite set out of this wave is actually the Dawn of the Iron Doom. I know most people would say the Dragon's Forge, but I just don't really like the dragon. The brick build head just looks ugly, and I always prefer molded or partially molded heads. The side build is whatever, but the Iron Doom is a truly magnificent build. I love the detail of the time blades on the front on top of that awesome printed dish. The minifigure selection is epic as well, as the Time Twins are some of the most expensive Ninjago figures, and their price definitely reflects that. Ninjago Season 8, Sons of Garmadon is hands down one of the best seasons, but its lineup of sets did not follow in the same glory. The temple build was super puny, and there weren't really any standout vehicles. I'll have to give it to Kilo vs Samurai X just because of how awesome that mold is. Big figs are a rarity to Ninjago, but when we do receive them, they are a treat. I also really like the look of Kilo's bike as it has a really menacing look. As the second season of the Oni trilogy, we were not disappointed by both the show and the Lego sets. I was so split between the Firstborn, the Diesel Knot, and the Dragon Pit, but I just had to give it to the Firstborn. I mentioned I don't like brick-built heads, but this one looks good enough. I really like her wings, and the Dragon Hunter's helicopter was a nice touch. I also think that the Dragon Hunters are some really underrated minifigs. They only released one set for March of the Oni, so let's move on to Legacy. The Legacy line was filled with some bangers, but also a lot was left on the table. I would obviously say Ninjago City Gardens, but I'm not counting that. Since it's part of the Ninjago City line, it would be way too easy. I like the remakes of Kai and Jay's Jets, Cole's Earth Driller, and the Monastery of Spin Jitsu, but the best has to be the Legacy Destiny's Bounty. Unlike many of the others, which didn't really feel like that much of an upgrade since the originals were technically more accurate, the bounty is done to perfection. I can't argue with the movie bounty since I've never seen it in person, but this version blows every other version out of the water. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe because I'm releasing part 2 very soon. Thank you for watching and God bless, my friend.